Hello and welcome to Retro Racing Reviews, where this time out we're going to be taking a look at the F1 Total Circuit. Now this is a concoction that I have to applaud. They've taken a bunch of the current F1 tracks and have basically smashed them all together to try and form a coherent whole. So here we are at Monza, and across the start and finish line we're in the Mercedes Grand Prix W01 from 2010, as driven by the new world champion Nico Rosberg. And I have to say, at one point in the season I really didn't think I was going to get to say that, but all I'm going to add is well done Nico, that was a fantastic job, and I think a worthy winner. So we're having gone around the Curva Grande, we're coming into Monaco through Casino Square, down into Mirabeau, and then the Lowe's hairpin, or station hairpin, or call it what you want at this stage. Heading down towards the harbour, but then blasting out into Istanbul Park. So this is the sadly defunct home of the Turkish Grand Prix for a few years. As we head up the hill, this is one of the best corners of Grand Prix racing. A quad apex left-hander. Run nice and wide on the exit. Hard braking. It's difficult to grab grab the apex there, but didn't do so badly there. So we fire our way out of that. Briefly go to Bahrain for this straight, and then enough of that nonsense as we go to Malaysia and into the complex at turns 1 and 2. Really tight technical section that, and we'll come out of that accelerating hard up the hill. And I do believe we're just coming through the well, I think this is part of Imola. Certainly part of the track before they changed it in the wake of Senna's death. Now, rather than going down to the toes of the hairpin, we're coming to the first corner at China, but gradually folds back in on itself. So it's all about trying to find where you actually attack it. Now, I ran a little bit over the grass, but I think I got away. So essentially heading back out onto the straight, and you can probably guess where we are now. Eau Rouge at Spa. Lifting off a little bit just so I can make sure I get through. And then heading out onto the back straight. Now, I've wound a bit more wing on this than I would normally. So we're topping out at about 180 miles an hour as we break down for the hairpin at Montreal. Primarily I wanted to have a setup that I could actually attack some of the bendier bits of the circuit with. We're going through the S's at Suzuka now. Lovely sequence of corners if you can get them right. Not doing too badly, so coming up the hill now to Interlagos. Across the start and finish line. And into the centre curves. So just tapping the curbs on both sides, hard on the power, through this long fast left-hander, and out onto what's now turning into the Circuit de Catalunya. Again, topping out at about 180, 183 at this point, hard on the brakes. Really meaty set of corners here that you can get your teeth into. Coming through this corner, and there's a small glitch here. Managed to keep it on the road though, which I was quite impressed with. So we're coming through, this is just after turn 1 at the Hungaroring. Lovely fast corner there just to take us out of this little short straight. Breaking up the hill, and then we're coming down towards Ascari back at Monza. On the brakes, grabbing a lot of curb there. Just dabbing it again, out into the back straight, staying off the grass hopefully, and into the final corner, hitting the brakes, building up speed, and starting to head across the line. So that's the F1 total circuit. Let's just see what the lap time is.
All right, that was a 4:58.77.
Well, to be honest, I'm quite impressed with that. I think a lap time under 5 minutes there is reasonably good going, considering the number of different corners and challenges you have to take on. I mean, I think it's one of those ones where you certainly can look to try and go faster, but for the purposes of this, I'll accept not running off the road. So the reason I picked both this car and obviously the driver is that Nico Rosberg, as I'm sure most of you are aware, is the 2016 World Champion and also chose to stand down from the sport at the end of the season. And to be honest with you, he joins a very, very small group of drivers who've actually stepped away from the sport whilst the reigning champion. I think it's Fangio, Prost, and Jackie Stewart. So overall, not bad company to be considered in. Now, a debate's going to rage about whether he deserves to win the title. To be honest with you, I think he's had some bad luck with the reliability in previous years. So the fact that he got a more reliable car than Hamilton this time out, I'm not going to begrudge him that, to be honest with you, because it often does come down to very, very fine margins, and it's one of those ones where he's not as good a driver as Hamilton. I think Hamilton is a quicker driver out and out, but I think Rosberg is a complete driver. What I mean by that is he's fast, he's normally pretty reliable, he sets the car up well, he works together well as part of a unit, and I think it's one of those ones where it's not always the out-and-out fastest driver who wins the day. And I think in this instance, you've got an example of a very good driver who's made the most of the opportunity. And to be honest, I think even if you're a Hamilton fan, he's bungled a lot of the starts this season. He's put himself in positions where Rosberg has been able to steal a march on him. So it's something that the occasional engine failure, yes, it did in the end, if you add everything up, cost him the title. But if you're Hamilton, you probably shouldn't have been in that place to begin with. If you're somebody who probably has about a tenth or a couple of tenths over Rosberg every lap, if you're being, if we're being blunt, then you should be beating him probably 8 times out of 10. So the fact that Hamilton didn't do what he did to Rosberg in previous seasons, I think partially that's because Rosberg didn't crack under the pressure, and secondly, I just think Hamilton was off his game on several occasions, and you could tell that he was frustrated with it. So overall, that's all I suppose I want to say about the season, because apart from that sort of conundrum, I guess the racing at the sharp end of the field was pretty tedious. The main issue with Rosberg is he's never really taken Hamilton on and beat him in a straight fight on track, whereas Hamilton has overtaken Rosberg a number of times, and sometimes they crash, like in Spa a couple of years ago, or in or you've got the incident with where they tried they collided in Spain, and then when Rosberg damaged his car in Austria trying to fend Hamilton off. So what you're left with is the racing wasn't that entertaining, apart from the last race where Hamilton backed Rosberg up into the rest of the field. So I think driver of the season has to go to Verstappen, simply because of the fact he was the most exciting thing out there. I mean, neither Hamilton or Rosberg did anything too special. Vettel was disappointing. Nice to see Kimi back on form, and Ricciardo did a really good, solid job. No complaints there. But I think Verstappen certainly he wasn't great all over the place, but when he did bring his A game along, it was certainly worth watching. And I think it's good that he's shaking things up a bit. So overall, can't really say that this season was a classic, but I think we've got a worthy champion. Look forward to seeing who gets the second Mercedes seat for next year, and well, hopefully with the new aero, Red Bull can catch up a bit. So looking forward to a multi-car title fight. But thank you for watching once again, and see you in the next one. Thanks.